This weekend, relive the magic of Harry Potter by experiencing the story with the backing of a live symphony orchestra.
This weekend, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone will be shown on a 40-foot screen while the orchestra plays at Davies Symphony Hall in San Francisco.
This morning, so excited to have the man behind it all, conductor Justin Freer, joining us on the 9 this morning. Welcome to the Bay Area.
Yes, welcome.
What an incredible experience. This, I'm guessing, is many people's first exposure to the symphony or symphonic music.
It can be oftentimes. That's one of the most exciting things about this project. It will introduce so many, I mean, 5-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 70-year-olds to an amazing array of music, why music is so immersive in film, and it teaches us, I think in a very humble way, just how powerful music is in film and how important it is as a storytelling device.
How it gets done. In other words, you might, as a kid, you might not think about where the music is coming from, but if you see the performers doing it, now you'll know it comes from there. How do you keep the sound from the dialogue loud enough so that when you're playing with the orchestra, it doesn't kind of drown it out?
So when they mix it, you know, when the movie comes out, they have a post-production bay and you've got 3 separate channels. It's very easy to mix it in a little booth, but now you're at a giant concert hall with thousands of other people. So we keep the dialogue and the sound effects separate, but every single music note is in the orchestra. And so we still kind of balance those 3 elements against one another in the hall. But the music becomes very prominent in a way that it can't be in a movie theater, or it can't be in your home living room. And so now all of a sudden we have this incredibly important character, the music, now breathing life into the picture in a very visceral, very real way. It's very exciting.
So Justin, what's your goal? I mean, where do you really want to kind of take the audience? So when they walk away, they say what? Yeah.
I hope that if we've done our job on stage, that we've perhaps moved and inspired 1 or 2 or 10 more people to fall in love with music, or fall in love with film, or art in general, and hopefully made them more aware of what music can do for picture. That's one of our primary goals on stage.
So is that your biggest compliment, would you say, that you receive when you hear stories like that?
I love people being able to share their opinion on, their newly changed opinion on how powerful music is to film. I love hearing that, because then it helps to reinforce why composers write music for film and why film needs music.
John Williams for Star Wars. I didn't know, you know, when I first saw Star Wars, I was too young to realize how big a part of the music was of that film.
Yeah.
But if you go, now that as an adult, you go back, it's like, wow, this score is just, it's what makes you feel why you feel.
It's true. I mean, the colors, the timbres, the melodies and the themes that exist for characters across from, you know, minute 1 to minute, you know, 180, or depending on how long the movie is. But it's an incredibly important storytelling device, and with this element that you can trace, one of the reasons why we fall in love with these films, these characters, these stories, you know, the children's adventure through Hogwarts is because of the music of John Williams, and we remember it.
The music on its own can be very emotional. We've taken to playing the Star Wars soundtrack at home, the E.T., the music from E.T. There are scenes when I hear them come on in the kitchen, I'll tear up at the E.T. music, whereas in the movie, it was one of many elements. But the music alone can really get you.
It can, and it does. I mean, it's an interesting story behind that one. The music, as Steven Spielberg and John Williams tells the story, John wasn't entirely, I suppose, comfortable with how it was going against the picture when they were recording it. And so Steven Spielberg says to him, just look, turn the movie off, conduct the music the way you'd like to conduct it, and I'll go ahead and re-edit the end of the movie to your music.
Interesting.
And so now what we know in the last, you know, reel of that picture comes from that amazing collaboration. And that exists with so many directors that work with John Williams, you know, Chris Columbus among them. And what came out of that collaboration for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is equally magical. It's amazing.
So I was going to ask you, how do you write music for film? What's your technique? Do you watch the scenes quietly at home? Do you go to a studio, or?
I think that's the first step, trying to watch the picture in a quiet environment and with the director, and trying to understand what scenes first need music, and equally important, what scenes do not. And then deciding kind of how to go from there. It's a frightening moment, starting with a blank page of nothing and trying to figure out what comes next.
How many pieces in that orchestra that you conduct?
We will have 86 musicians performing the music of Harry Potter, and it's a tour de force, this music score, and to have that music just, you know, blown back to the podium and to the audience by some of the most amazing musicians. It's incredible.
And real quick, you have 2 little girls, and you said you've seen 3-year-olds at your performances.
Yeah.
I think it's important to know, can my 3-year-old would not have been able to handle it. Perhaps yours can. Talk for just a second about knowing what your child is ready for.
I think that the music speaks to what this experience is. You know, you're going to a concert. You have the added bonus of a great movie from beginning to end on a 40-foot big screen. So I think if your children, they like music, they like any kind of sort of magic, and so many kids do, I think that this can work for them. And to immerse themselves and be introduced to something so new, perhaps, for a young child, it's a very immersive way of learning what music can be and what it is.
You said you first started on the trumpet. What's your favorite instrument today?
I consistently find myself falling in love with the sound of the viola section. It's such a rich string instrument. I love it.
Yes.
But the sound of 6 French horns playing the same melody, there's nothing quite like it. The majesty, the noble quality that comes from that
I
sound.
think the viola section gets me in the scary movies. It always plays a big role for me.
They're kind of the unsung heroes, the violas. I was a second violin.
I'll go French horn.
I want to put some information up on the screen to help you get to these shows. There is one tomorrow night, 2 more on Sunday. Some tickets are still available. We have all the information you need on KTVU.com. You will find it in the web link section of the Mornings on 2 tab. You'll also get it through the KTV mobile app. Justin Freer, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, thank you so much. We will be right back.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
Thank you. Same to you. Pleasure. Thank you.
Congratulations.
It's so cool.